Welcome in, everybody, to the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. We are back here at the Sheraton Erie Bayfront, looking over the marina with some more snow. Seems to be a common thread here. Soon that'll be out of here, and people like head football coach Erik Raeburn will be able to practice out on our outdoor turf. How are we doing today?
I'm doing good.
Thanks for coming in. I'm gonna kind of recap the last. Now it's getting close to 11 months of craziness in the world and craziness in athletics. So kind of starting right at the beginning there for you. Last spring, you guys didn't even get to a spring practice, I think, right? Before we had to shut everything down?
Correct, yeah. We got shut down before we ever stepped foot on the practice field. So yeah, it's been a long time, and it was great to get out there last night for sure.
Yeah, so kind of moving into the summer then, you kind of maybe still held out hope that the fall could look something like close to normal, and then kind of had our hopes crushed there in late July whenever we found out that wasn't going to look normal. What was that like? How did you deal with it, your coaching staff deal with it, your players?
Yeah, I think it was tough. Obviously, when May rolled around, and definitely in early June, super optimistic we were going to get to play, and things were looking better. And then obviously it kind of took a turn for the worst, and season got canceled, and everyone was disappointed for sure. But I felt like the players and coaches made the best of it, and we're fortunate at Gannon because of all the testing we do on campus. We were able to have some practices in the fall, which made it a little easier to take. I think that helped our players. It definitely helped our coaching staff. We have a lot of new faces, and so it was great for them to be able to get out there and work with our players. But yeah, it was tough, like it has been on everybody.
All right. Outside of those, all the extra stuff that we had to do in the fall in order to get you guys out on the field, was it almost like a flip-flop, like you did your spring practices? I know that's where you do a lot of the install and everything is in the spring, and you really work on some small details. Were you able to do that in the fall?
Yeah, we had a really good fall. We got a lot of work done. We practiced a little bit different, because of COVID and stuff. So we did a lot of split practices where, we had, like three days a week we would practice just the linemen together and then the skill guys separately. And then we had like 3 practices a week where we'd have everybody together as a team. So we got a lot of individual work, which I think we'll benefit from. So I guess myself and the coaches and players, we kind of consider the fall was like bonus. Most teams did not get the opportunity to do that at our level. And so we feel like every time we got to step out there, it was like a bonus and advantage we had on all the other teams.
Right. And then you just mentioned that you just had last night first, you want to call it official practice, in-season practice,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it in this strange year. So what was that like? What was that like to get to see them for the first time on the field as a team?
Yeah, it was awesome to get out there and get to do some football stuff again. I've never had a practice in February before, but it was great. I think our players loved being out there. We signed 8 mid-year guys, and so it was good to get to see them in action for the first time. And I think all the coaches, I know I was impressed with all the new guys and how they worked yesterday in practice. So it was awesome to be out there finally.
All right, take me through kind of the setup of this season. Usually with the PSAC schedule, you got 10 or 11 games figured out. You got to figure out one non-conference game. Week 1, whenever a lot of people are looking for non-conference, it kind of comes together a little bit easy, I imagine. Yeah. This year, way different. You're looking at non-traditional dates, non-traditional opponents. What was that like to kind of build the schedule that you wound up with? Yeah,
it was challenging. Obviously, we want to be as safe as we can, and so we're only going to play teams that are going to test 100% of their roster each week, and there's not a lot of schools that are willing to do that, and there's very few PSAC schools that are going to play at all, and so trying to find a team that's close by us and that's willing to do the testing has been a challenge. But we feel fortunate. We were able to find 4 games, and cross our fingers, God willing, that we'll get to play all 4 of those. And if we do, that'll be a great springboard into the fall.
Right, and I think that's how a lot of the fall coaches that I've talked to have used this as building momentum into the fall. There's no championship this spring, so it's kind of using those opportunities for competition to get better in a way that you normally can't in the spring? I assume that's the same way that you guys are looking at it?
Yeah, we try to tell our players, that this is a chance. These are 4 games they get to try to prove themselves and improve on their football skills and kind of build some momentum for our team heading into the next fall.
Right. And you guys also heard a lot of stories about the D1 schools that didn't get a spring, so didn't get a chance to get that time and then played in the fall. That seemed like probably could have been a quick turnaround. For you now, you guys didn't get that spring, but did get the chance in the fall. Is that you feel more ready maybe than you would in a normal year? Obviously in different ways, but how different does that look did that look yesterday on day one than maybe in August?
Yeah, I think because of the time we had in the fall, practice probably was a little smoother yesterday because we did get the chance to work with our guys. But have we not had that opportunity in the fall with the whole new coaching staff, no spring ball, I'm sure practice would have been a lot more difficult, a lot less organized, and a lot more questions. But I felt like it went pretty smooth. For our first day of practice, our guys are pretty focused and we made some mistakes, but not a ton. And so I do feel like that the fall really helped us.
All right. Well, that wraps up all the important questions about football and what we're looking at in the spring here. So we're going to move on to the Fast 5 segment. These are 5 quick questions, have nothing to do with football, nothing to do with Gannon.
Okay.
Hopefully people can get to know you a little better.
All right.
So I'm going to start off with, let's go with favorite movie.
Favorite movie? That's a tough one. I love movies. I guess I would probably have to pick Caddyshack.
All right, that's a good one. And let's see, favorite band, favorite kind of music.
Boy, that's a tough one too. I'm kind of all over the place with music, but the band I was just listening to on my drive over here was Fleetwood Mac, so they're pretty high on the list.
All right, let's see, favorite book.
Favorite book, I'd say John Maxwell, 21 Laws of Leadership.
Okay. Dream vacation.
Dream vacation, anywhere with a beach.
All right. There's a beach in Erie.
Okay, anywhere
maybe
warm
not during
with a beach.
February. All right,
yeah,
that's
anywhere
fair.
warm with a beach.
And last one there, dream car.
Dream car, I would say an Audi Q7.
All right. That was Fast 5, and that was head football coach Erik Raeburn. Thanks for coming in this morning and joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back with our next guest. We're going to have women's basketball coach Cleve Wright and a player join us, and we'll see you right after this.
Bianchi Honda knows winter does not slow us down in Erie. We're tough, so why not drive an SUV that fits who we are? Like in the 2020 Honda CR-V LX all-wheel drive that you can now lease for only $198 per month. Erie is who we are. Honda is what we drive.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. We are joined now by women's basketball junior Emily Poling. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Yep.
All right, that's a great start. We're going to have a little bit longer answers once I start asking questions. All right, so I just told you right before we got started here, but you're the first athlete that we get to interview on this that has actually played games, so that's going to be exciting. You're not going to have to answer every question about how this past year has been different with COVID, but that is the first question we're going to ask. So last spring, obviously, you guys got the end of the season tournament canceled, which was just no fun, but you guys have had some time to be able to kind of move past that. This fall looked different than any other fall getting ready for a season, I imagine.
Yeah.
What was that like? How was it different for you guys?
It was just so different because, obviously we didn't know when our first game was going to be. We didn't know even if we were going to be able to play this year. So that was different, just practicing and practicing and practicing. But, we just had to go into each and every practice knowing that we needed this to get better. And if we did play this season, then that was great. If we didn't, then it was preparing us for next season. So, just competing every day and getting closer and communicating and all of that. That just really helped us get through it.
What was that like? You guys usually compete against each other in practice, obviously, but then usually you have that first opponent to look forward to and a date to look forward to. This year you had that, and then that one got canceled, and then you had to wait a little bit longer. I guess, do you guys get tired of going against each other, or you just learn even more every time?
I mean, it wasn't really getting tired of it. It was just like we couldn't take it for granted because we didn't know the next time that we were going to be able to compete against another team. So we knew that we just had to compete against each other and take, I mean, everything we could from all those experiences and really just get closer with each other and know that it was coming eventually, hopefully, but we didn't know when for sure. So just competing with each other, making each other better for this season and next season, I mean, that was really just our main focus.
Right. And then eventually we were able to get to games, and that's still been a little crazy with when we play and things get canceled and moved around, and you're not quite sure, but we played some games. You guys played 10 games. What have you seen from your team? What do you like?
We're just so happy to be on the floor together and see faces that we don't recognize on the other side of the floor. I mean, it's weird to practice with your teammates every day and then go from being on separate teams and then all of a sudden you're all one, you're all together. It just makes you realize that you were making each other that much better, and preseason was worth it, and really competing against other teams. Now you can't take it for granted anymore because you don't know when the next opportunity is coming and you don't know if it is coming. So really just making each other better, focusing on being the best you can be every day.
All right. And right now you guys are 9-1 as of Tuesday, February 16th. By the time this airs, we might have already played another game. Who knows? Not on the schedule right now. But so you're already kind of 3/4 of the way through the season. That happened really quick. How do you like your team's prospects moving forward?
We love it. We're working every day to get better, just trying to build relationships, get closer, really just work on talking and doing the little things that we can and know that we have so much to improve on. But I mean, we have so far to go. It did go quick. I mean, usually we start in November and we started in January this year. So it seems like it's crazy that we only have 2, 3, 4 weeks left. But I mean, just like I said, we can't take it for granted and we have to play every day like it's our last.
All right. So this is your second full year at Gannon, right?
Yep.
What brought you here? What made you want to come to beautiful Erie?
Coach Wright's just awesome. I mean, the competing attitude and everyone being there for each other, loving each other, and truly loving each other, not saying like that's what we want, but actually competing, loving each other, and really caring about each other. I mean, that's what we do, and that's what we're all about, and that's never going to change.
Right. That seems like something that's instilled very quickly whenever someone gets here. You got a new class of people that came in this year, and it seems like they bought right in. How does that work whenever you get that new group coming in?
I mean, I think they see all of us so close and so together and really just truly loving each other. And I mean, I think that's very contagious. Everyone wants to be a part of that. If you see people just having so much fun together, obviously you want to be a part of that. And Coach Wright does a great job of making sure that we all truly invest and do what we can to love our teammates and make it a great time all the time.
All right. And you are a sport and exercise science major, correct? Yep. What do you want to do with that whenever you grow up? I always preface that with that's fine. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. So if you don't know, that's a perfectly fine answer. But what are you looking at right now?
This summer, I decided that maybe go to PA school after I graduate. If not, maybe think about be a GA and try to coach somewhere. I don't really know. The options are open.
That's great that you still have plenty of time to decide. All right, so that wraps up the basketball-related questions and the Gannon-related questions. I gave you a little tease on this, but we're going to head to the Fast Five segment.
All right.
5 questions, nothing to do with basketball, nothing to do with Gannon. Get to know about you a little bit more. All right, so we're going to lead it off with, let's go with what's your dream car?
My dream car? I don't really have one, but I feel like a Jeep's a pretty popular one, so we'll go with that.
All right. How about dream vacation?
Definitely Hawaii or Alaska. I think Alaska would be super pretty, but you can't go wrong with warm weather and beaches. So.
That's very true. All right, let's see. Favorite movie?
First one that comes to mind is Benchwarmers. I don't really know why, but I love that movie, so it's fine.
All right. Favorite book?
Favorite book? The last one I read was The Energy Bus by John Gordon. We read that as a team, and I liked it, so we'll go with that.
All right. And favorite band? Favorite kind of music?
Favorite kind of music is country. Don't really have a favorite country artist, though, but anything country.
All right. That was Fast Five. Emily Poling, Gannon Women's Basketball Junior, thanks for joining us today.
Yep.
And good luck the rest of your season.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with Emily's head coach, Cleve Wright.
What is Gannon? A place where you are transformed.
Where you can find yourself and define who you want to become.
A university grounded on faith and inclusiveness.
That values your well-being and growth.
forming a family inspired by global connections.
A community that builds on our traditions with a vision for the future.
That believes in the possibilities.
And more importantly, believes in you.
This is Gannon.
This is Gannon.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. Joined now by women's basketball head coach Cleve Wright for his second time on the show. He's an old vet now. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. So because of that, we already dealt with all the how this year looks weird with you. So we don't have to do that too much. You guys have played 10 basketball games. We get to talk about basketball.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
That sounds good.
So just starting right off the bat, you guys are 9-1. You guys have won games, looked well in a non-conventional season. So what do you see out of the team after 2 months of play?
Well, it's funny because it's February, but it still feels like early January, and or even late December, just because we're 10 games in. There's still a lot of work that needs to happen. There's a lot of things we can get better at. The girls have been fantastic. Their work ethic has been, and their commitment has been fantastic. And they're dealing with things really, really well, and either the change of things or this or that. They've adapted. They're flexible. So that's been a good lesson. Good lessons in that. And so I think we certainly, to answer your question, I think we can get a whole lot better. But for where we're at right now, I think we're progressing in the right direction.
All right. So what have you seen from, different players? Early in the season, I marvel at how you guys would run out like 13 players practically and play even minutes. And that's part of it's learning your roster and learning the rotation and stuff like that. But so I guess what have you learned about that?
Yeah, you know what? That's what's interesting is if people look at what's happened really over the 10 games. And I kind of look back and boy, it just seems like a while ago now. But back when we were playing our first couple games, I'm thinking, okay, well, we're still trying to figure it out. And then we have an injury. Tori goes down; she's done for the year, and you're still trying to figure out, okay, what's a good rotation here? And then you got Boston trying to come back. If you look, in reality, right now we have one starter from last year playing minutes. Now Emily Poling came off the bench and played a lot of minutes, was playing starter minutes. Right. So we do have her, but we're trying to get Boston back into the rotation. Faith Williams has come along real strong. Emma Wright has been a great addition to our team, and Delaney's played a lot of good minutes. So I think I think it's just that thing that we're just trying to get a little bit better. I do think that we've taken a step in being close as a team. And I think that's very beneficial. I think that shows on the floor how close we are as a team, and so we'll see how that goes. We still have roughly 4 weeks left in camp. We'd love to go 4 weeks. We'd go 4 or 5 weeks, whatever that is. So we'll see what happens.
Right. Another thing that I was laughing at from this past weekend, I feel like you started out the entire season with said 7 people would score 12 points, and that's how you get your scoring, and it was working for you.
Yes.
And then Sam Prasco said that's okay. We don't need this. I'll just score 30. Did you see that coming? Someone breaking out? Well, not even just Sam.
Really, what happens there is it comes down to how people are guarding us. And the way Clarion decided to guard us was they were going to double down from their post. Well, when you double down from your post, that's going to leave the other post open, or if you try to guard Sam with one person, there may be somebody that can do it, but there's nobody done it yet. And she's very good with her balance, has good post moves, things like that. And so the other teams would double down off their guards, and our guards are pretty good shooters. So Clarion just took a different approach, and fortunately Sam was ready for that, and didn't get too excited, and just kept her balance, and was just really, really, really more than solid. I was going to say solid. She was more than solid. She had a great couple games for sure.
Right. And it's shown flexibility of your team, flexibility of the roster, that you can adapt to what other teams are giving you. I think that's probably an added.
Absolutely. I do think we do. I do think we have some adaptability. I do think we aren't just a 1-2 trick pony or whatever. We've got several things, and then quite frankly, to look and see what Sam's done. You know, you have Tori go down, who was our leading scorer last year. I think she was our leading scorer at the current time. I'm not sure, or close. And to have Sam come off the bench and to do such a great job, I think it's a tribute to Sam and her commitment and how hard she works and how bad she wants it. And our kids couldn't be even so happy for it. And that's what's really cool, is to see our kids be excited about about their teammate doing well.
Right. What's it kind of feel like this year? 12 months ago, if you felt like a normal year, a year that you were building, and it turned out to be PSAC champions and get into the regionals. Now this year, looking like, obviously it can't be a PSAC championship, but looking at getting to that regional, really hoping that doesn't get canceled again, which is, things are looking really good, but you never know at this point.
And you never know what's going to happen.
How do you build through the final 3 weeks of this year to get there and hopefully get one of those 6 bids?
I just think, you know, our discussion has been that we'd take it one game take it one practice, one day, one game at a time, because we don't know what's going to happen, and try to be our best that day. I think our players are. I think we've taken a step in being a good team, as far as being a unified team, and I think we've taken a step in our work ethic and taken a step in our commitment. So those are good, positive things. I mean, you said a year ago. When I think about a year ago, I mean, we weren't even we were trying to finish the PSAC. We were so focused on trying to concentrate on each game and what that might be. I mean, I think we were like, there's only 2 or 3 regular season games 12 months ago.
Right.
Now, as you said, there's no conference tournament. So again, it's a different view. You know, normally our normal rhythm would be play Wednesday, play Saturday. You know who you're going to play. You're prepared. You regulate your body. You've got your mind going. And now it's completely different, but yet there's an excitement. You want to stay focused for what could be and to put yourself in the best position. So that message is very similar. You know, last year we were going to put ourselves in the best position for a postseason, for playing in March and so forth. Same message this year, just looks a little bit different. And you know, our kids are just such great kids. They want to listen. They have a desire. They're so coachable, and they, you know, it's a joy to be around, really.
Right. Let's see. I think that we're hitting pretty good time there. We're going to wrap up the questions there.
We're done. Cut it.
Oh, not quite yet.
No,
you want to get away without doing the Fast Five. So, second appearance on the show. Couldn't do the same Fast Five questions for you, so we came up with 5 new ones. I say we because Emily just helped me right before her segment come up with the last 2.
I'm scared of that.
So if there's hard ones, you can blame her.
Okay, good.
All right. So a new Fast Five for Cleve Wright. Ready to go?
Uh-huh.
All right. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food is, I love steak. Yeah, steak.
All right, let's see. What is the best game you've ever seen in person? That could be from coaching, watching as a spectator.
Best game I've ever seen in person, and that could be as a spectator. Wow, I could come up with so many different things there. I think our 2013 Atlantic Region Championship at home, where it was pretty cool. The 2010 Region Championship, when literally the floor was shaking, and I mean, the whole thing was going defense. And I'll never forget having the actual thought, like, this is shaking. I can feel the sound, and it was just that was very, very exciting. Both of those. I would like to say that that last year's was exciting, and it was, but it wasn't exciting like that because you're away from your crowd and all that stuff. It was very special, but I would say those 2. And then I remember this one game when North Carolina women won the national championship on a last-second shot by Charlotte Smith, and I'm trying to remember the year. I want to say it was 1994 or something like that, or 95. That was just pandemonium, you know, especially it's a Final Four championship game. So, and I was in the crowd.
Nice.
So,
all right, let's see here. All right, what's your favorite sport other than basketball?
Favorite sport other than basketball would be to play. I love to play golf. I'm not very good at it. I'm more of those, like, when I had a good shot or 2.
When you look at the positives on that.
Exactly.
That's great. All right, I just came up with this one this morning. You'll never guess why. Would you prefer a foot of snow or 100 degrees and humid?
I love Erie, but I would take 100 degrees and humid in a heartbeat.
All right, last one. Favorite animal?
What's funny, when I was growing up, it was a black panther, which is kind of weird. I know, I remember that. But probably my favorite animal now would be, I love dogs. I love dogs, yeah. So.
All right, there you go.
Simple.
That was the brand new Fast 5. Cleve's now done the Fast 10 if you count all of his episodes.
Exactly. Fast and Furious.
Thanks so much for coming in again. Best of luck the rest of the way for you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, and we'll be right back with the final segment. We have women's wrestling coach Christen Dierken here to join us.
It's time for a break. Time to get away. Go for a ride. Take a hike. Jump in. Be inspired. Erie, Pennsylvania. We're ready to safely welcome you. With enhanced cleaning procedures, employee health checks, and social distancing. Plan your vacation at visiterie.com. Safe, fun, affordable, close.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. Joined for our last segment today by women's wrestling coach Christen Dierken. Thanks for coming in today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
All right, so we're going to hop right into it here. Usually start everyone, just kind of go chronologically through the last 12 months. And 12 months ago, you guys were getting set for, your second postseason tournament, kind of, a couple weeks away. A lot of success last year at national tournaments, at small tournaments,
Yep.
everything in between. How did things build to that last year?
Well, last year was kind of a funny year, because we've always wrestled under the WCWA, and that's the women's wrestling organization that we've had since 2005. And so I wrestled under that. It was basically our organization. So as we were transitioning to NCAA, emerging sports status, we were able to wrestle at that, and then also have an unofficial nationals. That's not NCAA sanctioned, but it was for specifically NCAA schools. So it was cool. We got to have 2 opportunities to wrestle at national tournaments, and had some really cool experiences having our first All-Americans, and then we had a couple kids who were 2-time All-Americans within 1 year, which was really, really neat for them, for the university as a whole. So through the year, through both tournaments, we had 6 All-American honors. So a lot of success. Building up to that was just recruiting heavy and really pushing the idea to our athletes that just because we're a newer program doesn't mean we can't be contenders. And so a lot of the kids bought into that, and we were able to come away with, I think we placed 11th at nationals, potentially, and 6th at the national duels. So potentially we're between 5th and 10th place as far as our level of ability.
Right.
So.
And kind of right around that time last January, found out that women's wrestling was getting to be in the emerging sport program for the NCAA, which was a big step. What was that like, and kind of where do you see that going from here?
Like a lot of people were very excited. I was excited. I'm not going to say I wasn't, but at the same time, I already knew this is a ball that has been rolling for many, many years. So it's not. We have gained so much momentum and traction that it wasn't going to get halted or stopped. It was just a matter of time. So it was really nice to have that official. We know this is this is actually going to happen, and it's really exciting for where I'm at in my wrestling career, or my coaching career, and for the girls where they're at in their wrestling career now. So it's just exciting moving forward with what those changes look like, and just watching that growth to the next level for women's wrestling.
Right. And kind of transitioning there from the momentum of the sport to the momentum of our program here. You guys had a really nice recruiting class, brought in a bunch of good people. Those people have already started to make an impact this year. This year, what does things look like? Looks different, obviously. It didn't start wrestling competition in October like we normally do.
Yeah.
But how's that looked this year?
Yeah, as we transitioned from last year was a really long year because we had planned to wrestle the WCWA only and didn't know that there was going to be that other tournament. So we actually ended up competing October to March, when traditionally it would be October to February. So it was an extra month, and that last month was tough. But this year we were planning on going November to March. We had obviously some challenges with COVID and what different schools were having testing wise, and if it was sufficient for what our standard is, and what the NCAA was putting out as far as guidelines and such. So it was difficult. We could have competed in the first semester. We were planning on it, but we were not able to find competition that was willing to follow those specific testing guidelines. So we trained. We had a really, really good preseason. For the first time, we had a full 6 weeks of just running and lifting and getting our bodies prepared, ready for like our true preseason full practices. The challenge of like sending them home at break time, an extended break, that was a little difficult. But when they came back, we had a few weeks to get ready for competition. We were able to get a schedule. It was a lighter schedule, but lighter than what we would like.
Right.
But we were able to redeem, obviously, the year and get a schedule put together, and had enough time to get the girls at least back ready to compete. And so leading into that, we've had a couple competitions, and now we're gearing up, getting ready for the first ever regionals.
Right.
So.
And that's coming up this weekend. We're hosting it here at our Recreation Wellness Center, which has been fun for us to plan it. You're part of that planning process.
Yeah.
I am, the rest of the administration. Been fun to get to throw that together. Short notice.
Short notice.
We had things moving around, and we became a host late in the process. But we're excited for it. I'm sure you're excited to not have to travel for it.
Yeah.
Get to have a little wake up in their own bed and everything.
Yeah.
What are we looking at there? Like I said, first regional tournament. How do you guys focus on that?
That's really, it's all good things. I mean, we are in the middle of COVID, and so obviously, some of the things, there's extra planning, extra preparation, extra like little, T's to cross, I's to dots or whatnot. But, it's really exciting to be able to, it's an honor to be able to host the first ever regionals for the NCAA. It's an honor to host it, but it's also just exciting to be able to like physically, watch that progression in women's wrestling actually like physically unfold in front of your faces, and to be able to host it here, home court advantage. Unfortunately, we still are battling things with COVID, and so we don't necessarily have our full, varsity lineup. A lot of people are out, and so we're battling that week to week, who's in, who's out. But we still believe we're going to have like a strong performance and be competitive within our region. So.
Right. All right. Well, that wraps up all the wrestling related questions. So now to move on to the actual hard stuff. Going to go to the Fast Five segment. This is 5 quick questions. Nothing to do with wrestling. Nothing to do with Gannon. Get to let everyone know you a little bit better. So ready to give it a shot?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. First one, we're going to go with favorite movie.
Oh, Cinderella Man.
All right, that's a quick one. Favorite band.
Ooh, I'm not a huge band person.
Type of music.
Yeah, country and worship.
All right. What's your dream vacation?
Dream vacation. I don't know. I'm a beach person. I like being on the beach, so yeah.
Favorite book.
Favorite book, the Bible. I read a lot of self-help, professional development, self-improvement type stuff, but I definitely the Bible is like the daily. So.
All right. And last one there, dream car.
Dream car. I don't know. I don't really care about cars too much, so I got a beat up little minivan is kind of a cool thing because I got babies to put in it. So
there you go. See, that's the dream car.
I'm good with my minivan. It's a Honda Odyssey, so I mean it's legit.
Top of the line.
It's white, so it's cute. I don't know.
All right, perfect. That was it for Fast Five. Christen Dierken, head women's wrestling coach here at Gannon. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, that'll wrap up the Gannon Golden Knights Coaches Show. Thanks again to the Sheraton Erie Bayfront for hosting us. We will be back next week.